Yes, so we have successfully extracted Gino Rotundo, age 56, from 3 Stephanie Drive without any harm or injury. Also, his wife, Rachel Lombardi, age 54. Um, Again, this is after a 16 to 18 hour standoff that we had with Mr. Rotundo. It all stemmed from an alleged assault that took place involving his wife. That is going to be under investigation. She has been transported to headquarters to take a statement and to see what actually took place. Mr. Rotundo was out of the residence when this alleged assault took place. A friend came over, an acquaintance came over, and again allegedly assaulted Miss Lombardi. The suspect then left. Mr. Rotundo returned home. Mrs. Lombardi explained to Mr. Rotundo what had taken place. He then called the suspect to come back so they could talk. The suspect came back to 3 Stephanie Drive, where Mr. Rotundo took a single shot at him, which he did not strike him, did not strike any neighboring houses or any other property. The suspect then called 911, fled the scene, did not want to press any charges, wanted to remain anonymous. That brought us here approximately 2:40, and that's when the standoff began.
And so again, this has come to a peaceful conclusion. Both Mr. Rotundo and Ms. Lombardi are out of the home, and are they now headed to police headquarters, or where do they go now?
Ms. Lombardi is heading to police headquarters. We're treating her as a victim as of now. We're going to attempt to take a statement from her. She was not being that cooperative here on the scene, so we hope once we get her back to headquarters, she will be more cooperative and start answering our questions. Mr. Rotundo has been transported to Rhode Island Hospital for a psychological evaluation.
Was there any drug deal involved in this? Do you know?
The house, we're waiting for a warrant as we speak, and the house will be searched thoroughly, hopefully finding the handgun that was used in the shooting and what other paraphernalia we can find as well.
During the whole time that this went on, was the cousin still conducting all the negotiations?
He was. Lieutenant Michael Pizzulo from Cranston PD was here the entire time. He was very detrimental to the back and forth, the rapport that was had with Mr. Rotundo. Ultimately, once we lost communication and Miss Lombardi sent out that help on Facebook, we were concerned something may have happened. Therefore, we called the state police. Unfortunately, we don't have the resources to make that type of an entry. State police showed up, as you all have saw. They had both parties come out without having to make any entry, and it was very successful, and there were no injuries. I'd like to first thank Colonel Michael Winquist from the Cranston Police for his resources. He had 3 officers here pretty much the entire night, and then the state police this morning for their resources in helping getting both parties out of the residence.
Can you spell Lieutenant Pizzulo's last name?
Pezzullo.
What kind of charges could he be facing?
So we learned throughout the night that Mr. Rotundo has an active warrant for a suspended license. He is also out on bail for a May of 2022 possession of cocaine charge. He's going to probably be getting charged with firing in a compact area, and then if we locate any weapon that was used or any other type of paraphernalia, he'll be charged accordingly.
Do you know if it was an AR-15 or what type of gun?
The initial reports were an AR-15. Again, the search, we haven't even started. He had numerous hours by himself in the house to possibly try to hide some of those weapons if there were more than one, so we're going to do a very thorough search. State Police, once again, is loaning us their munitions canine, so they'll be able to sniff out any type of weapons that will be in the residence.
Do you know what prompted the wife to put out that help message?
We do not. once we have her back at the police headquarters, we will question her on that as well.
Then can you talk about through the entirety of this standoff with them in the home, just the communication that you had with them? Were you able to see them in the home, moving around? What kind of things they were doing inside throughout the entire nearly 17 hours?
Very sporadically, we had visual on them. Once we did shut the power off to the house, was the time we saw them the most. They were opening windows to get some ventilation and sliding some curtains and shades back. But for the most part, they were inside. For the most part, they came out to Mr. Rotundo came out to the front door to get his food. But for the most part, they were definitely barricaded inside.
Now, of course, this could have gone a number of ways, of course, and it ended peacefully, and it was sort of a lot of those little steps throughout the negotiation that eventually got him to come out. Do you think it was any one part that made him finally surrender, or you think it was just over the course of the hours that kind of weared him away? Or
I think it was our patience, our professionalism, our tolerance. I mean, we were all tired, including Mr. Rotundo and Miss Lombardi. That's one of the first things they stated, that they were tired and hungry. But I think it was just our professionalism, working well with two different agencies that made this all come together with a very good outcome, as we all saw.